All right, this video is over topic 32, number 1 through 6, looking at simple interest. General interest relationships to know in this box. Initial value plus interest equals future value. If it is a loan, amount borrowed plus interest equals amount repaid. If it's an investment, amount invested plus interest equals ending value. Amount invested here means of your own money put in. So if I say somebody has an investment account and I say, how much do you have invested? We might mean that to mean like, how much is your whole account worth currently? That would be the ending value. Currently, or at the end of the investment. So when we say amount invested in this course, it means how much of the person's own money was put into the account. Then they earn interest added on, getting the ending value. For compound interest, so simple interest, you can calculate the total interest added on, get the future value. For compound interest, you can't do that. So for compound interest, we have to rearrange this. So we'll get to that. But so this is, I think simple interest only. The relationships are the same, but the adding the interest to get the future value. So for simple interest only, you can find the total interest, add that onto the initial value to get the future value. That whole process, again, simple interest only. All right. We had looked at these two accounts, the 8,000, 8,400, 8,800, etc. Account A and B. Account A increasing by 400 per year, which is 5% of the initial 8,000. So this, you could say, is 5% simple interest. We only ever are earning interest on the initial 8,000. So we have the 8,000 initial value plus the interest being 400 times the number of years to get the future value. So that total interest being 400 times T, the 400 being the 5% of the 8,000. Account B, you cannot do that. So the future value was 8,000 times 1.05 to the T, and you can't break that down into easily something being added to 8,000. So all you can do is find the future value and reverse the process. So for compound interest, for anything other than simple interest, you first must find future value and use that, then subtract to find total interest. So here you have finding the interest can only happen after you've found the future value, after you found the total amount repaid, after you found the ending value of the account. You subtract the initial value to get the total interest. Again, look at this table with the different notation used. You have on the formula sheet this, I equals PRT. You need to know that that is for simple interest only. So if you're asked what's the total interest, and you go look on the formula sheet and you say, there's an I, I'm going to use that. Do not do that. Do not use it unless you see the word simple. If you do not see the word simple, this formula will not work. Don't use it. Now, you also have a list in ALEX. So you have this same thing in ALEX. Here it tells you I is simple interest. What you want to be careful with is this formula here on the ALEX list. It doesn't give any hint here to tell you this is also for simple interest only. My recommendation, if it's on the ALEKS list and not on the course formula sheet, don't use it. Unless you are confident you fully understand when to use it and when not to use it. So this is the only one that I'm saying that about that you could theoretically use. Everything else that's on here that's not on the formula sheet, I'm very much going to say do not use. But simple interest, I equals PRT. To get the future value, you add the interest onto the principal. So some examples of this. Practice 1, the Lookout Restaurant took out a loan for $5,000. That's the principal. The simple interest rate was 6.5. R is going to be 0.065. The term was 3 years. That's T. What is the interest charge? That's I. I equals PRT. That's going to be 5,000 times 0.065 times 3. So 5,000 times 0.065 times 3, $975. Question 2, a SPA secured a loan at 5.5% simple interest. R is 0.055. Simple interest means we're going to have I equals PRT in play for 2 years is T. The interest on the loan was $93.50. So now it's telling us the interest. That's I. What was the amount borrowed? That's P. We're looking for P. So $93.50 equals unknown P times 0.055 times 2. Various ways you could solve that. You could get 93.50 equals P times 0.11 and then divide both sides by 0.11. You could take 93.50 divided by parentheses 0.055 times 2. You could take 93.50 in fraction form over 0.055 times 2. You could do 93.50 divided by 0.055 and divided by 2. Just depends on the calculator you are using and how you're using it. Either way, you should get 850. So whatever calculation you're doing, if you're getting 850, probably means that that is valid and will work. Number 3, to meet payroll during a down period, a business needed to borrow $2,000. That's the principal amount borrowed at 4%. R is 0.04. Simple interest means we're going to use I equals PRT for 3 months. The months is important there. T is not 3. T is 3/12 of a year. So 3, that's 3 months divided by 12 months per year gives the number of years. So there has to be a divided by 12 in there. So how much interest will they be charged? 2,000 times 0.04 times 3 divided by 12. And that comes out $20. What is the future value? That's going to be the principal plus the interest, the 2,000 that they borrowed, plus the extra 20 means they're going to have to pay back 2020. Number 4, if you invest 8,000, that's principal for 30 months. That's 30 divided by 12 years. So that's time. And receive $1,000. That's interest in simple interest. So we have that relationship I equals PRT. What was the annual rate? We're looking for R. So I equals PRTI is 1,000 equals P is 8,000, R is the unknown, T is 30 divided by 12. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8,000, divide both sides, or multiply, do it this way, multiply both sides by 12 over 30. To get R by itself. So 1,000 divided by 8,000 times 12 divided by 30 comes out 0.05. Again, lots of different ways you could go about doing that calculation to find R, different ways you could combine the numbers there. Try to avoid any rounding, but I don't think it matters. So if you went ahead and did 8,000 times 30 divided by 12, you get 20,000. So then you would be taking 1,000 divided by 20,000. That'll work. 0.05 is the decimal form. This is going to be a 5% rate. And number 5, find the future value of a loan. If 3,600 is borrowed, that's P. For 4 years, that's T. At a simple interest means we're using I equals PRT. Rate of 8%, R is 0.08. So I, unknown, P is 3,600. R is 0.08. T is 4. 3,600 times 0.08 times 4 is 1152 interest, and it wants the future value, so add that on to the original principal, the amount borrowed, and this person has to pay back $4,752. And number 6, a pawn shop offers to finance a guitar costing $750. That's P at 4%, 0.04. Simple interest again means we have that I equals PRT relationship. The total interest charged will be $150. That's I. What is the term? We're looking for T. So I equals PRT 150 equals 750 times 0.04 times T. Let's do it this way, 750 times 0.04 is 30, so 150 equals 30T, divide both sides by 30, and T equals 5 years. All right, so all of those calculations, the I equals PRT, sometimes you have to add that result onto the principal to get that future value, but this is all only if it says simple interest. If it doesn't have the word simple, do not use any of these processes.